The Orion Anomaly. Part 1. The Black Triangle. The air in Subsector 7 was always the same, filtered, recycled, and perpetually smelling of ozone and old coffee. 80 feet beneath the blistering Mojave Desert, Dr. Aris Thorne lived and breathed this air, dedicating his life to listening to the silence of space. He wasn't looking for little green men. He was looking for patterns. Gravitational ripples, pulsar decay, the slow, rhythmic heartbeat of the universe. For 5 years, he had found nothing but predictable, astronomical noise. Tonight was different. Aris was monitoring the Project Nightingale Array, a sophisticated network designed to filter out solar interference and terrestrial chatter, focusing solely on trans-Oort cloud signals. His screen, a mosaic of spectral graphs and frequency spikes, suddenly flashed an anomaly in Sector 14 Delta, a cold, empty expanse beyond Pluto known informally within the facility as the Black Triangle. "Aris, check 14 Delta. Your filter's spiking," chirped the flat voice of his junior associate, Maya, over the comms loop. "It's not the filter, Maya." "It's the source," Aris muttered, his fingers flying across the console. He isolated the frequency band. It wasn't a natural phenomenon. It was too narrow, too clean. It possessed a structure that defied chaotic thermodynamics. The parameters for 14 Delta are set to high cosmic background noise only for a reason. But this isn't random. Listen to the pulse cadence. It's fractal, repeating. ET equals the sum of cosine of omega t doesn't produce this kind of symmetry. It's information. The signal wasn't a chaotic roar of energy. It was a whisper, a meticulous arrangement of bits transmitted across light years. Aris initiated the Level 3 deconvolution algorithm, the protocol reserved for hypothetical, non-random structured data. The system groaned, processing petabytes of raw data. What emerged wasn't alien language, but pure, elegant geometry, a complex, rotating, 9-sided object encoded in base 64. Aris felt a sudden, cold dread, the kind that whispers, "You are not alone in the quietest part of your soul." This signal wasn't an echo of the Big Bang. It was a deliberate, targeted conversation starter. Aris immediately triggered the Level 1 anomaly report sequence. Protocol dictated all data be locked, encrypted, and flagged immediately to the director's office. He watched the loading bar. LOAR, protocol, initiated. Data lock, pending. And then everything seized. The system didn't crash. It just went silent. The loading bar vanished. The screen reverted to a clean, default slate. The logs were completely scrubbed. Even the ephemeral cache data was gone. Aris knew he wasn't looking at a system error. He was looking at an execution. Someone, or something within the system, had intercepted the protocol and surgically wiped the slate clean in an instant. "Lore failed," Aris whispered, the weight of the realization settling on him. This anomaly in the Black Triangle wasn't unknown. It was classified. For the next hour, Aris worked offline, using a local terminal running an ancient, unauthorized diagnostic suite, a relic from the 1980s he'd kept for nostalgia. He managed to pull the raw frequency dump from the temporary buffer before the LOAR execution. The structured data was still there, intact. He needed a key. Information this sensitive wouldn't be left open. It would be secured using a protocol so obsolete, no modern I would even recognize it as encryption. He recalled an old file his mentor, Dr. Elara Vance, who had mysteriously transferred out 5 years prior, had left him. It was a single, tiny text file named Project Shepherd. It contained nothing but an 8-character string followed by a descriptor. Zulu 49, Orion 7 key. Aris entered the full string as a decryption key. The complex geometric data dissolved into a simple 2-line text file, target acquired, initiate Orion 7 archive retrieval, coordinate set, 45.9 north, 116.8 watts. Subsector 7, B-Wing, Sublevel 3. The coordinates pointed not to a location in space, but to a physical room deep within their own subterranean bunker, 3 levels below the main operating floor. It referenced Orion 7. Eris knew the name. Orion 7 was an experimental probe launched during the Apollo era, decades before the Cassini or Voyager missions. It was rumored to have been a catastrophic failure, lost shortly after launch. A ghost in NASA's historical ledger, officially listed as decommissioned pre-orbit. If the signal from the black triangle was directing him to a physical archive of a long-lost, supposedly failed probe, then the official history was a deliberate fabrication. The black triangle wasn't noise. It was waiting for a specific message from Earth, and Orion 7 had delivered it 50 years ago. Sublevel 3 was the oldest, most restricted section of Subsector 7, a cold storage analog archive maintained by only one person, the almost mute, fiercely loyal security custodian, Mr. Silas. Eris powered down his station, grabbed a flash drive containing the signal data, and secured it in his satchel. He had to get past 4 biometric checkpoints and 2 guard rotations. He didn't have clearance for B-Wing. He used his mentor's old security ID, a bronze access card she had given him years ago as a gag gift, claiming it was her emergency escape key. To his astonishment, the card worked on the first magnetic reader. Access. Granted, provisional legacy status. As he moved through the desolate, cement-walled corridors of Sublevel 1, the usual white noise hum of the facility seemed to grow louder, more insistent, like 1,000 hidden microphones were now focused entirely on him. He reached the stairwell leading to Sublevel 3. The air immediately grew colder, damp, carrying the metallic scent of oxidized filing cabinets. A small handwritten sign was taped to the steel door. Analog archives, by appointment only. No electronic devices beyond this point. Eris ignored the sign and bypassed the final keycard reader with a quick 2-part electromagnetic pulse, a trick he'd learned hacking old arcade machines, not NASA systems. The lock clicked. Inside, the room was a labyrinth of towering beige filing cabinets. The only light came from a single, bare fluorescent bulb buzzing ominously overhead. Eris found the section labeled Orion Legacy, dusty and forgotten. He pulled open the 7th drawer. Orion 7, decommissioned. Inside were thick, paper-bound logs, handwritten in neat scientific cursive. He flipped past launch sequences, telemetry readings, and early systems checks, until he reached the final entries. The last sheet of paper was brittle and yellowed, dated May 14, 1975. The final entry was not a technical report, but a personal note, scribbled in a shaky hand, signed by the lead project scientist, Dr. Evelyn Marsh. It read, simply, Log entry, May 14, 1975, 0317 Zulu. The echoes were wrong. They are not echoes. They are responses. We should have listened to Vance. The trajectory is fixed. Close the gate. Vance, Eris muttered. His mentor, Ilara Vance. She wasn't just transferred. She was following a script written 50 years ago. He pulled out his flash drive, ready to photograph the logs. As he did, a low-frequency thrum vibrated up through the concrete floor. The single overhead bulb flickered, plunged the room into darkness, and then snapped back on. Standing in the doorway, silhouetted against the dim corridor light, was Mr. Silas, the custodian, holding a heavy old-fashioned flashlight. But it wasn't the flashlight that made Eris freeze. It was the subtle metallic gleam in the custodian's eyes, and the quiet, almost electronic way he spoke. "Dr. Thorne," Mr. Silas said, his voice flat, devoid of human inflection.
32 seconds.
"You should not have
flight.
opened the envelope."
The 3 liquid
The
fuel
black
main engines soon
triangle
will
is a
throttle back to
recipient,
72%
not
of
a
rated performance
transmitter.
down in the bucket,
It's waiting
reducing
for the
stress on the
delivery.
shuttle as it goes transonic.
The beam of the flashlight clicked off, plunging the archive into oppressive darkness. Eris heard the heavy thunk of the steel door closing and the metallic clack of the external lock engaging. He was trapped, and the original message from the black triangle had just been answered.